Bit wet, scratch that idea.
Hey guys, Chris here, Midlife Carpentry. Welcome back to another installment. Now, I had to scrap the whole deck idea, the platform that we're going to do. We're going to do that little deck and stuff near the stairs that we did the other week. A bit wet. We'll pass on that, scrap that idea. So instead, a little bit of cleaning up in the shed, which is desperately needed to help me get organised. I might make a little box maybe for the ute. We'll see how we go. And more importantly, I wanted to talk about 3 mistakes I made on the same job this week. It's, a little bit disappointing that I made the mistakes, but it's a part of learning, I guess. So, I'll share that with you. I'm going to have a chat about it. All right, let's get stuck in. Righto, it's a process, eh? It's a process. It's getting there. So, what 3 mistakes did I make over these past few weeks that, that I'm a little bit embarrassed about? First of all, number 1, okay, let me set the scene. We have a job where we're doing wall cladding. Okay, so we're closing off a shed. Basically, there's already roof that's already established. Okay, we did that concrete work, so we put the footing in and everything. So it's like a hob, I guess. To stop any water getting in, and then we sheeted our wall to that. Started sheeting the wall, and I was basically, there was a bit of time spare, so I thought, all right, I'm going to go and screw off some sheets, okay, to keep the process going. So I went through and went to go and screw off the wall sheets and stuff. Now, unbeknownst to me, without my sort of forethought and thinking, the purlins weren't sort of sitting spot on as they should be. Like, they should be sitting nice and straight, but they weren't sitting spot on. So what had happened is the measurement that was taken from the base of the sheet up to where the screw hole was actually incorrect further on. Okay, so it just threw it out the whole way. And unfortunately, I went and screwed 2 screws in and missed the purlin completely. And you can see from the inside the 2 screws protruding. So a little bit embarrassing. There's a bit of a rookie error. What I should have done, okay, well, that was raining. What I should have done was basically from the screw hole, from the original screw that was there, so the first screw that was put in to hold the sheet, so the holding sheet screw, whatever you want to call it, from there, do a string line, so a chalk line, up to the purling, because I could see the purling at the end of the building. So I just had to go to the end of the purling, know where it was, flick the line, and then do my screw line along that. But instead, I did a measurement, and it was incorrect, because I was trying to stay away from the water with the downpipe and stuff was raining. But anyway, that's just a poor excuse, basically. So yeah, that was the first little mistake in my hiccups. Not the brightest moment. That seems to work. It's good. Hanging things up. So, mistake number 2 on that same job. Obviously, I bungered up one of the sheets. I put screw holes in it. So, okay, we need to try and make up a sheet somehow. All right, we've got a rip there. Let's start this side wall with a rip and try and make up a sheet. That's the advice and ideas that qualified people I had around me were thinking. Little did they know that Chris is on the case and he's going to balls it up again. So I've gone to cut around the door frame. So you've got to roll the door and everything here on this shed build that we're doing, okay? And obviously your sheet comes up, it's about half a rip, and then you've got to kick it around before you finish cladding along the top. I just had to do a rip up and a cross cut, and that was it. It would have been fine. But guess who forgot about the cross cut? This fella, all right here, this guy. So I forgot about the cross cut. I started ripping from the top of the sheet on the way down, and yeah, obviously that didn't work at all. So we've ended up having to still put the sheet on, okay, which got us to the edge of the door, which is great. But at the top, we had to start cladding directly from that point, as opposed to coming in a bit, so which would have given us a bit extra further on, if that kind of makes sense. So yeah, most unfortunate. So yeah, it would have worked out pretty good otherwise. So yeah, another clever moment by Chris on that cladding job. So still got another one to tell you about yet. It's a completely different sort of side to it. So what I'm trying to do here is there's tools that are in the back of the ute that just, they're kind of just thrown on that back bed, and they flow around and slide around, and I can never really find them when I want them. So I thought, all right, I've got this old wooden toolbox that I built back in high school. I've still got it. I thought I'd put it to some use and yeah, mount up some tools and some brackets and yeah, see if I can keep things a little bit more organised in the back of the ute. It's definitely something I'm always trying to improve on and get better and better and better at. So organisation is key to being efficient, and yeah, I get a little bit flustered and anxious when things aren't organised, that's for sure. Third thing that I ballsed up on was to do with the ramp that we had to install. So we had to remove a sloping section that transferred from the old shed to the new shed which we were enclosing. The slope wasn't good. It wasn't good for their equipment or anything, so they wanted a better slope from to transition between the two sheds. So the concrete was removed to the existing stuff, and then we had to go through and lay some new Rio mesh. So it was myself and a colleague. We went in, laid the mesh, and there was that feeling, that gut feeling I had inside me that was like, hang on, I don't think we have enough mesh here. It doesn't feel right. And sure, fair enough, rather than me asking the question or making a phone call just to double check, it led to us having a conversation at the end of the day that there wasn't enough mesh in there. The mesh was set up incorrectly, and we had to go and do it before we went home. Which is fair enough. It's all part and parcel of learning, I understand that. But yeah, it's something I could have avoided. I could have rectified the situation in the first place just by simply making a phone call and asking the question. So asking the question is key. I think that's probably the biggest thing I've learned this week, is that always, if unsure or have any uncertainties, don't be afraid to speak up. Yeah. All right, time for a tool shout out. Let's have a yarn. Tool shout out again. Another tool shout out for this little installment. And to guys, it's kind of it's a bit of a generalized one, as always trying to do. It's a particular tool that comes in handy when roofing or dealing with metal sheets or tin sheets, okay? We spoke about snips in the past, and they were very handy to have, but there was something that comes in handy when you've got to do a lot of cutting. So I'm talking about rips and cross-cutting and that sort of stuff on your sheets. I'm talking about shears. Now, no, this isn't a full Makita setup of shears. I haven't purchased those yet, but I have the DeWalt attachment to my drill. Now, at first you sort of think, okay, this seems a little bit shonky, this base plate came off a couple of times, so I actually had to drill into the housing a little bit to help lock that in, which has worked well, so it stopped that from moving, okay? Making sure that basically our screw is tight, our adjustment screw is tight, and make sure the blades stay nice and close, all right? That helps, all right? But this little Duvalaka, this little bit of business has helped out heaps. So I found that there's a bit of a knack to utilizing it. Now, a lot of guys prefer to basically hold it like this, and they're cutting along, taking the particular angle that they need to achieve their cuts. But I found upside down D-walt is handy for rip cuts, and then pistol grip setup. So I spin this around, undo this, rotate this around, tap right like this, okay? I found this way easier for cross cuts. So when you cut across, so with our cladding job, we had an angled roof, so we had to chop every sheet, okay? Every time we had to put a sheet up, we had to get the angle, all right? This is what did it. So very handy little product. They're about $100. They're not overly dear, so nice and cheap. And I had an old drill, so this is the drill that I had before I had any of my 40 volt gear and stuff like that. I've had it for some time, and it needed a home, it needed a new job, and this is perfect for it. So, the drill is a DHP 485, which is, I think, kind of a domestic drill, basically. So plastic chuck, that sort of thing. So you might be picking one of them up pretty cheap too. Yeah, so the DeWalt tin shears or powered tin shears in general, handy little tool to have when wall cladding or roofing. Yeah, that's my tool shout out this week, guys. That ought to do the job, eh, guys? Thanks for watching as always. I hope you've learned a little bit again, and yeah, we'll see you on the next little installment. Build on, legends. Have a good one.